Hi there, Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video we are going to begin our quest down the road for painting a noise marine. So as you can see here, we have our model in sub-assemblies. I have it attached to cork using super glue, and it was also primed using StanoRes Gloss Black. We're going to lay down some TurboDork Wavelength. This is a brand new color from TurboDork. And we're going to use a Patriot 105, spraying at around 20 psi as we do so. So as I mentioned, the Gloss Black is very important when working with metallics, especially if you're going to lay it out by airbrush. But even if you're doing it by hand, by regular old bristle brush, it's pretty much important. So this color is a Colorshift paint, but because of the lighting situation here, it doesn't really show a lot of the color shift. So you're just gonna have to take my word for that. It looks really great. It has a predominantly blue look, but on the edges of the model, it looks purple. You see this purple almost like outline to the model. Dabba D is next. This is a TurboDork. This is the older formulation. They do have a new formulation coming out, and it's a little bit, I believe, a thicker body to it. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to edge around the armor. Now, as we do this edging on the armor, we are going to kind of create some artificial highlights, obviously, as we do an edging on the armor. Because the color shift, normally I would kind of leave it alone, but I do want to bring some definition to these segments of the armor and such. So we could also have done them in a purple as well, because again, in the light, when you're looking at this in a normal kind of lighting situation, it actually, you see quite a bit of purple jump back at you. And so it's actually really quite fun. These color shifts are just really, really fun. And I wanted to go with something a little bit fun with the Noise Marine and have this riot of color. I did consider initially going with this kind of Prince-like theme with metallic purple, but I thought, no, let's go with some color shifts because they're just too much fun. So you can see here, I'm just basically laying this out. If you're wondering what kind of brush I'm using here, it is an Artist Opus #1. It's kind of close to a standard brush. It's a little bit finer than a GW standard brush or standard base coat brush. You know which brush I'm talking about. It's a bit smaller than that one, but it's not as small as the Artificer. You can see there I've also began edge highlighting the face as well as the arm here as well. On the shoulder pads, I only did just a little highlight on the outer edges where the predominantly big portion of the shoulder pad is. Blue Steel is next. TurboDork. This is an old one as well because, I have old colors. And this is a lighter steel, and we're just going to go very, very lightly, very, very minimal amount of highlight. We're just going to go for just corners and such with this color, and because it's pushing pretty close to silver when you see it applied, which is fine. I'm actually had the idea of maybe throwing in some really kind of funny artificial type of highlights onto the model, a bit like a how you see like anime kind of style. I may even go back and do that. I don't know. Let me know down below if you guys want to see me throw on and ruin this model by changing the highlight scheme. You can see there I'm just quickly throwing the color around, and I also fast forward a bit here and lay more edges down. I do the arm, shoulder pads, knees, and anywhere basically I'm going to leave a predominant amount of this blue on, which is on the large portions of the model. The trim and things like that obviously going to get colored in different schemes. And you can see here I also did the helmet as well. I didn't bother showing those because, it's just a little bit of edging, just really on the face concentrating. And next we're going to go with some Leviathan Blue. This is the new Citadel contrast color, and basically what we're going to do here is we're going to create a little bit of armor separation and create a little bit of shadow, because I did lay this down by airbrush, which has a tendency to get everywhere onto the model and provide this uniform look. I'm using this to create a bit of separation, also throw in some artificial shadow points onto the model, but still keeping a bit of that metallic look whenever you're looking at it in light. And so basically I just did it under the cheekbones, around the eye sockets, inside the grill. And you can see here I'm going to apply it into the separation of the leg joints and ankle joints and anywhere there's armor separation, where I'm going to leave predominantly the blue or this wavelength color on the model. And you can see there, I've just basically gone through, and you can see like on the leg joints there and behind the knee and everything like that, you can see how the matte color really does come together with the metallic shininess. But that is it. That is laying down some TurboDork as our base for the beginning of our Noise Marine, and this is going to be a little journey we're going to run through, so don't be afraid to hit that like button and like and subscribe and all that goodness. And of course, leave a comment down below as to what you guys would like to see as well. And a huge thank you to all my patrons for making this possible.